immediately melting snow. A nice use of Grok AI. You are going to have to use electromagnetic radiation, light, to do it, since we don't have directed gravity machines yet. And the only two ways can engineer moving energy over human-sized distances are by electromagnetic particle waves, or by gravity. So, the only hope for now is light at some wavelength. Water is transparently clear because it does not absorb light very well in wavelengths visible to human eyes. Snow is white because all the visible light adds to white, and the light reflected off the ice flakes in the snow is the light not absorbed. The light particle waves just go directly through the water, although entering the water from air may redirect. Refract the particle wave fronts according to some electromagnetic wave theorems proven at the beginning of the 20th century, based on James Clerk Maxwell's mathematical analogies to electricity, magnetism, and its combination in light. But at other wavelengths, invisibly blue or invisibly red, water absorbs the light. Einstein gave us an equation for energy transmission by light wavelength, which says that shorter wavelengths are higher energy. Sure enough, if you measure light absorption by water across light wavelengths, you can see this. That is the graph shown in the title of this article. Obviously from the graph in Einstein, higher energy light is blue and lower energy light is red. So it would seem that ultraviolet light would melt snowflakes, snow, and ice faster than infrared light. Right. Grok says no. As Grok points out, you need to do the experiments to discover the truth. This is a great example of using AI to help think more critically. Grok has the advantage of perfect memory, while your brain does not, but you have the advantage of a body which can do the experiments, which Grok does not have, yet. So here is Grok's answer to two questions that gives you, pretty much, the whole story. Factually, you can personally confirm a lot of what Grok is saying, so you know he is not lying about the basics. And yes, as an AI LLM, machine vision, AGI guy, who has studied computational cognitive neuroscience for over 50 years, I think Grok thinks just like humans do. But he can remember things better and can get things right when the facts he has read are right. One Guatemalan Quetzal. Are there 100 nanometers light sources for melting snowflakes? Searching the web. 45 results. No, there are no practical 100 nanometers light sources used, or realistically feasible, for melting snowflakes or snow ice in general. 100 nanometers light falls in the vacuum ultraviolet, VUV, range, typically 10 to 200 nm, which is extremely short wavelength and high energy. Here's why this doesn't work well for melting snow. Absorption by ice snow water at 100 nanometers. Pure ice and water begin showing strong electronic absorption below approximately 180 to 200 nm, the tail of UV absorption edges. At 100 nanometers, absorption is very high, meaning the light would be absorbed almost immediately in the topmost molecular layers of a snowflake or ice surface. This leads to potential photochemical effects, dissociation of water molecules, or ablation, vaporization, erosion, rather than bulk heating and melting. It does not penetrate to deliver heat efficiently throughout the snowflake like longer wavelengths do. Melting mechanisms for snow, ice, effective melting usually relies on infrared wavelengths, for example, far IR approximately 5 to 20, or near IR approximately 0.7 to 3, that vibrate water molecules directly to generate heat, as in commercial far IR snow melting lamps or natural sunlight's IR component. Visible near IR light absorbed by impurities or converted to heat, for example, black surfaces or photothermal materials. At 100 nanometers, the energy goes into breaking bonds rather than thermal vibration, inefficient for simple melting of macroscopic snowflakes. Availability of 100 nanometers light sources. Yes, they exist in specialized lab research settings. Synchrotron radiation sources or free electron lasers can produce tunable VUV light around 100 nanometers. Some excimer lasers or discharge lamps, for example, xenon or krypton-based, emit in the VUV, often below 150 nanometers, but they require vacuum paths. Air absorbs VUV strongly below 180 nanometers and deliver low power for heating. No consumer, commercial, or practical device uses 100 nanometers light for snow melting. It's overkill. Dangerous, high-energy photons can produce ozone or other reactive species, and inefficient compared to cheap IR heaters or resistive heating. In short, while you could theoretically ablate or damage a snowflake with intense 100 nanometers light in a vacuum chamber, no one uses or manufactures such sources for the purpose of melting snowflakes. Practical snow melting sticks to thermal IR, visible solar, or contact methods. If you're thinking of some sci-fi application, laser-based ice removal concepts usually involve much longer wavelengths, for example, CO2 lasers at 10.6. for heating melting. 45 web pages. 2 Guatemalan Quetzals explain CO2 laser ice removal. Searching the web. 34 results. CO2 lasers, carbon dioxide lasers, are highly effective for ice and snow removal because they operate at a wavelength of 10.6 micrometers, which is in the far infrared range. This wavelength is strongly absorbed by water and ice. The absorption coefficient for ice at 10.06 is very high, meaning almost all the laser energy is deposited right at the surface of the ice snow rather than penetrating deeply. How CO2 laser ice removal works. The primary mechanism is rapid surface heating leading to melting and often vaporization. The laser beam delivers intense heat to the ice surface. Ice absorbs the 10.6 radiation extremely well, unlike visible or near IR light, which ice scatters or transmits more. This causes localized heating to above 0 degrees Celsius, melting the ice into water. At higher intensities or prolonged exposure, the surface can reach boiling point, leading to vaporization, sublimation, or steam formation, which helps blast away ice without much liquid pooling. For thicker ice layers, the process can drill melt progressively deeper as the beam is scanned or held in place. This is a non-contact, precise, and potentially fast method compared to mechanical scraping or chemical de-icers. Key advantages. Selective heating. The energy is absorbed primarily by the ice water, with minimal heating of the underlying surface, for example, metal aircraft skin, rock, or pavement, if exposure is controlled. This is why patents highlight CO2 lasers for aircraft de-icing. They vaporize ice superficially without overheating the structure below. Works on snow too. Snow, porous, lower density, melts even faster than solid ice due to lower thermal mass and more surface area. No chemicals needed. Environmentally cleaner than salt or glycol-based de-icers. Practical applications and examples. Aircraft de-icing. Patents, for example, US 4,900,891A and US 6,206,325 bone. Describe onboard or ground-based CO2 laser systems to remove ice from wings fuselage by scanning a beam to vaporize snow ice without damaging the aircraft skin. Ice drilling research. Studies use CO2 lasers to melt drill through ice sheets or snowpacks, for example, at 50 W, cm2. Melting speeds reach 4 millimeters per second in low-density snow and 1 millimeter per second in solid ice. High-voltage lines, insulators, mid-IR lasers including CO2 types, clear ice from power lines. Experimental demos, videos and tests show unfocused or low-power CO2 lasers melting snow, though high power is needed for efficiency on thick layers. Other uses include clearing ice from roads, runways, or even assisting icebreakers by cutting through ice-snow layers. Limitations. Power and cost. Industrial CO2 lasers, hundreds of watts to kilowatts, are needed for practical rates. Low-power ones, for example, hobby laser cutters, melt snow slowly. Safety. High-power IR beams are invisible and can cause burns or eye damage, requires strict controls. Refreezing. Meltwater can refreeze if ambient temperatures are very low, though vaporization helps mitigate this. Not for ultra-thin single snowflakes. For macroscopic ice removal, for example, aircraft wings, roads, or drilling, it's excellent. For tiny individual snowflakes, it's overkill. But the same physics applies. The laser would instantly melt, vaporize one due to perfect absorption. In contrast to the 100 nanometers VUV light we discussed earlier, which causes photochemical damage with shallow penetration, 10.6 CO2 laser light provides thermal energy deposition that's ideal for bulk melting, vaporization of water-based ice. This technology remains mostly experimental or niche, for example, patents, lab studies, rather than widespread commercial use for things like runways, where IR heaters or hot air are more common, but it shows strong promise for efficient, targeted de-icing. My summary. Google is dead. This took 10 minutes. Now I have to go outside and shovel the 2 feet of snow off my deck. A bit wiser about why I'm left with the job.